back to the Unraveling Soprano. I'm Heather, and this is my channel where I talk about all of my fiber crafts, whether that be knitting, crochet, sewing. Yeah, those are all pretty much all I do. Yes. All right, so starting off with what am I wearing? This is my Turtle Dove 2 sweater that I dyed. That video went up last week. I think I like the color. I mean, this bugs me. Like, but it's so much more prominent on the camera than in real life. But I do think the color, especially like the color by the turtleneck, I do think it looks good on me. So I'm just accepting that this is where we are. So as far as what I accomplished this week, very surprised. I actually finished, it's not blocked, but I finished my Seedling Shawl. So this is what we got. So it's pretty long. I can't actually get the whole thing in. We've got quite a lot of amount of curling, but this is the width. I'm hoping that when it blocks out, it's gonna stretch a lot to give me some more width to make it more of like a usable shawl rather than a scarf. But yeah, I'm so surprised that I was able to finish this. Now, granted, I finished this like midnight last night because once I realized that like, oh, you're gonna finish this, I was like, oh, it's happening. It's we're getting this done. So yeah, so the once you get past the slip stitch section, so once you get to the actual border, it flies. It's so easy. I was actually a little nervous. So when I got to the end of the first ball, sorry, I was like, I still have some ends, but it's like almost the entirety of the slip stitch section. Well, I got to the end of that and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have plenty left over of yarn. But actually, once I got to like the last two rows, I was kind of playing a little bit of yarn chicken. Let me show you what I have left. Sorry about that. I only have like this much yarn left, which I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. This is gonna be like, I think it's probably like maybe 10 grams of yarn. So yeah, not a whole lot of yarn left, which was surprising. What do I think about the pattern? I think the end, I mean, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to think about the end products because it's not blocked, so I'm not positive if it's, I know I'm going to like it, but like, is it going to be like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm going to wear this all the time? I don't know. It really just depends on how it blocks out. Like, as it is right now, I think I would just use it as like a scarf. So like just use it. Oh, this is gonna be a lot of wool. Like do something like that with it because this scallop edge is, well, it's not supposed to be a scalloped edge, but like it's giving Ursula vibes, which I don't hate. But it does look like, it looks like a squid leg. So if that blocks out, I think I'm gonna wear this a lot. If it doesn't block out, I think I'll just wear it like as a scarf. Because that looks cute. And I think the color works. Would I ever knit this again? No, I wouldn't. I mean, was it a hard pattern? No. It was kind of hard on my hands. The slip stitches, like, one of the reasons why I think this took me so long, because it's not a difficult pattern. And I'm sure it is, like, by the end of like all of the repeats, I did pretty much memorize the pattern. I had to like check back onto the pattern how to start it, but it's not, this is very beginner friendly. It's just hard on the hands for me. I was using metal needles, but this is a very like springy yarn. It's like a Highland wool, superwash Highland, superwash Highland wool and nylon. So it's a sock yarn, so it's pretty springy. And you can definitely tell, like, once I got to this section, it was very, very, very springy. But this really, like, hurt my hands. Like, to the extent where I'd knit a couple, like, knit 2 repeats. I'd have to soak my hands, and then I'd have to go back. And so, like, it took forever. So, I don't know. If this ends up blocking really, like if this ends up looking like the picture, I'm gonna wear this a lot. And if something ever happened to it, I could see myself maybe making it again. But this would definitely not qualify as a gift knit. I would never make this for somebody as a gift because it just took too long. I mean, it took a month. And a month for a shawl without color work, I think is a pretty long time. And yeah, so if this, like, I can't see myself needing more than one of these. So, but I like the way the yarn, like the way the pattern looks in the yarn. I feel like it's just a very like subtle, like striping. So, really proud of myself for getting this done. I might cast on something new this week. We'll see. I actually might have to pause this because I just realized I did not grab the yarn that I wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pause. We're gonna come back. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I will talk about that yarn in a minute. But I wanted to talk about the next whip I have on the needles, which is my Aros sweater by Petite Knit. So to finish the shawl, I did work on this, but I kind of had to put this on hold a little bit, which I think is fine. Like, this is a long-term project. I don't know how much I can get done in a week, but we have a decent amount done. So this is, I don't know if you can see. I hold it up. It's back up. Ugh. Okay. So it's at like just below my hips at this point. I'm not quite sure if that is like, if it's getting stretched because I'm holding it up. And if some of that will go away. Actually, I feel like it's just going to increase when blocking. But this is how much I got done. This is my progress keeper. So I got about like maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches done. This is I can't remember what ball I'm on, but I know I have 6 left. So I'm going to have definitely enough yarn to finish this whole thing. I think it's going to be closer to my ankle length, which, great. We'll see. I might have yarn left over from this project, and maybe I'll make a vest or something if I have yarn left over. But I'm pretty excited about the progress just in general, the progress I made all week, because the combination of finishing the shawl and also actually getting about 2.5 inches done on this, I think is great. Trying it on, it fits great. I was thinking I might have had to do some increases for the hips, but I didn't have to do that. And I don't have any, like, the fabric isn't stretching so much that there's holes over my hips, which is great. I don't know if I need to do decreases for going over the legs. We'll see. I'm not there yet. I might do that. I don't know. Because I don't necessarily... I'll have to look again for the other examples that are on Ravelry, because I don't necessarily want it to be like a va-va-voom dress. It's supposed to be like kind of a comfy, cozy dress. So, but I also don't want it to look like a sack, because I feel like if I look like a sack, I'm just gonna look like a pot of honey, which is a vibe. Like, it's a look. I just don't know if it's a look I want. So we shall see. I'm just gonna keep on trucking along with this. If I haven't already said so, this is the Knit Picks City Tweed in Honey Bee, Honey something. Knitting this on, I think, US 4s. One moment. US 3s. Yeah, so I'm knitting this on US 3s. My shawl I knit on US 5s, and this was Knit Picks Hawthorne fingering in Sweet Home Tonal. Okay, so those are my finished object, my whip, and now on to my cast on. So, kind of, I lost my train of thought. Kind of thinking about shawls and how I'm trying to knit a couple more shawls, and especially before the weather gets warmer. I never know anymore I don't think anybody knows. The weather's been so crazy past, like, at least the past 5 years, maybe the past 10 years. It's pretty unpredictable. So I'm not quite sure when winter is going to end where I am. But I still want to get another shawl knit up, and this one is going to be in a DK. So this is the color. I've shown this before. This is Hawthorne DK weight in the color Spring Water Multi. So these are my two skeins. The Spring Water Multi. It's a really pretty color. I think it's going to look great on me. What I'm going to make is the smallest version of the Autumn Vibes shawl from the from my Lane Publishing shawl book. And yeah, I'm really excited. The pattern calls for 2 or 3 skeins of a DK weight, and I only have the 2. I'm not buying a third, because I also think that I don't want leftovers. I want to, like, knit until this is, like, done. And I'm pretty sure I can stretch it. I can aggressively block it out. Because, like, the nice thing about shawls is that it's like an accessory. How much are you really washing it? Like, I don't want to aggressively block out a sweater because I'm going to be washing it and it's going to change the fit every time. If I aggressively block out a shawl, I probably may not wash it very often. Like, because I can't see a situation where it would get that dirty because I'm always wearing it over top of clothes unless I spill something on it, which I do spill a lot of things. I'm not a very graceful human, but I can't see myself spilling that much on a shawl unless it's like tea or coffee, and then it's just spot clean. But yeah, so I'm gonna work on this shawl. I think I'm gonna, at the very least this week, I'm going to wind these into balls and just get the process started. I might do that today and then just work on my Aros sweater for the rest of the day. And then if I get bored with this, like, endless stockinette, then I'll move on to the Autumn Vibes. I was actually looking at the Autumn Vibes. It's part of it's charted, which I don't want to work on a chart, but I'm gonna work on a chart. I know I need to get over my chart issues. It's just, like, they're just hard to, I find them hard to read. Like, I don't know if it's that the print is too small. Like, maybe I should find a way to, like, blow up the chart so it's easier. Like, I just can't figure out where I am, and I haven't figured out a good system on how to keep track. I know people sometimes put, like, Post-its and they tape them, so I might do that. And it might be different now that I'm working out of a book, because I don't think I've ever worked with a chart that wasn't in a digital format. And I think the digital format is one of the things that, like, confuses me. But in a book, I might be able to just put a post-it down and know exactly where I am. So it might be a better experience. But I almost changed the pattern, and then I looked at the rest of the book and I was like, there's nothing really else that I want right now. I don't want to do a color work thing, and this is like, that was one of the only shawls that was just one color, and so I think that this yarn is really good for that. Because I'm getting lots of color, but I'm not like using different types of yarn. So we're gonna wind this up. And I'm gonna work on my Aros sweater. And then yeah, I think that's gonna be my week. Just working on those two things. If I would love to finish my Aros sweater this week. That would be amazing because I want to start my campfire sweater, or campfire cardigan some point in February. But I'm also not gonna, like, I have to be really aware of my hand, my repetitive use injuries, to not make them worse and to take breaks, because I did not take very many breaks this week, which was not smart. I am paying for that now. Let me know in the comments, what do you do? What kind of exercises do you do? I've seen some videos where like you just kind of like, this looks very silly in the viewfinder. But like you do some exercises with like just hand motions, and like finger motions. But like, what else do you do to help with repetitive stress stuff? And then like, do you use those gloves? I have them. I don't understand, like, they don't really work for me. But yeah, let me know what you use, and also what are you working on? And then finally, what do we think? This is now completely dry and wearable. I don't think it's not bleeding onto the shirt I have underneath. So what do we think? Is this am I slaying? I just aged myself so much by saying that. But like, does this work? Like, is this a thing? Is this like something I can wear out of the house? Because it's just in the house right now. Does it look intentional? It was not intentional, but does it look intentional? Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next week, I hope you have lots of time to do all the self-care things, even if that is just turning off all of the devices and all the social media. I do see the irony of me telling you to turn off social media while I'm on social media. That's I did not miss that. But like, do the self-care things to make yourself get through February, because February is a hard month. Like, it's a pretty hard month for just the sad seasonal affective disorder. So I hope you have lots of time to do what you need to do to get through February. And until I see you next time, happy knitting. Bye!